Welcome to SLummy, the exciting game of luck, strategy, and fast-paced action in Second Life. Get ready to test your instincts, avoid risky traps, and compete to beat your friends. Let's dive in and see how the game works. Wait until all players are seated, then click the Start button. The game will now indicate whose turn it is by lighting up the indicator in front of the player who will make the first move. The selected player will click the spin button and the board will start moving. By clicking the stop button, the player stops the board and reveals where the cursor has landed. The value indicates the points earned. The player can now choose to stop by clicking the freeze button to secure their accumulated points, or take a risk and spin again. At this point, after accumulating $2,500, the player decides to press the freeze button and secure their points. Now the game passes to each opposing player in turn, who will make their own decisions. When the indicator lands on pass, the turn moves to the next player, keeping any points in suspense. In this case, since no points were accumulated during this turn, there are no points in suspense. In this case, the player landed the indicator on pass after already accumulating 100 points. These points remain in suspense, and the player's next turn will resume with these points from the current round. In this case, the player landed on 2x, so the points accumulated so far in the current round are doubled. When the indicator lands on the skull, all points earned during the turn are lost and the turn passes to the next player. In this case, since the player hadn't accumulated any points, it is treated as a pass. In this case, the player had accumulated 900 points during the turn. Since the indicator landed on the skull, all these points are lost and the turn passes to the next player. The indicator landed on the bank, allowing the player to accumulate 5,000 points in a single hit. By freezing, the player reached 10,400 points, surpassing the 10,000 point target. At this point, the other players have one final round to score as many points as possible and try to win. The final player has also completed their turn, and the player with the highest score wins the game.